Hello, listeners. Welcome to Stories by Peter Hubb. If you enjoy gripping stories about love, betrayal, and the hard road to redemption, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. For 16 years, Daniel and Emily had been together, bound by love, struggle, and the hope of building a life worth fighting for. They had 3 children and a connection that, on the surface, seemed unshakable. Yet beneath the warmth of family life lay an undercurrent of doubt and unspoken pain. Daniel, shaped by a childhood of anxious attachment, clung tightly to trust. Emily, however, carried patterns of evasiveness, half-truths, shifting stories, and moments where loyalty blurred. What began as a fairy tale often trembled under the weight of hidden fractures.
The first crack appeared quietly, like a hairline fracture under fresh paint. 2 years into their relationship, Emily grew close with a man in her friend group. Too close. One Thursday night, Daniel watched Emily step out in a simple black dress. "Who's going?" he asked, trying to sound casual. "Just the usual crew," she said, slipping on her earrings. "Don't wait up." His phone lit up hours later, photos on social media. Emily at a dim table, 2 couples, and him. When she returned, Daniel met her in the hallway. "I thought you said it was the usual crew." "It was," she said, breezing past him. "He showed up late. It wasn't a big deal." "Why didn't you tell me he'd be there?" She set her purse down a little too hard. "Because you overthink everything. It was nothing." "Emily, it matters to me." She exhaled, impatience flashing across her face. "I'm allowed to have friends, Daniel. You don't own my time." "I didn't say I did. I'm asking for honesty." Her voice softened, practiced and reassuring. "It's one-sided. He's just friendly." "Then tell me straight, did you kiss him?" Her eyes flickered. Hurt? Offense? Something else. "No, we didn't. There is nothing to confess." The conversation became a storm that wouldn't move off the coast, circling, churning, never breaking. Nights melted into weeks of quiet standoffs and muffled arguments behind closed doors. Finally, Daniel reached a breaking point. "I can't live inside a story that keeps changing," he said, voice hoarse. "If I'm the problem, say it. But don't ask me to trust smoke." Her jaw set. "If you walk away, it won't be because I betrayed you. It'll be because you can't control your anxiety." He left. The silence afterward was both a relief and a wound. 2 months later, they met at a small cafe, the kind with soft lamps and chipped mugs. Emily looked tired and beautiful in a way that Daniel's chest ached. "I miss you," she said quietly, fingers tracing the rim of her cup. "I miss us," he answered. "But I need the truth. Did you kiss him?" She held his gaze, steady this time. "No." He wanted to believe her more than he wanted air. "Then we try again," he said, reaching across the table. Her fingers met his. The fracture hid beneath a fresh coat of hope.
3 years passed. Life steadied. Jobs, birthdays, weekends folded into habit. Then came the coworker. He was older, recently divorced, the kind of man who knew how to make attention feel like sunlight. Late one evening, Emily's phone lit up on the counter. A name Daniel didn't recognize. A preview of a message. "Still thinking about our talk. You were right." "Who's that?" Daniel asked. "A coworker," Emily said, putting the phone face down. "He's going through a rough time. I'm being kind." "Kind," Daniel repeated. "At midnight?" "Please don't start," she said, turning away. "It's harmless." The messages multiplied. So did the absences. Daniel tried to hold on to reason, to not become the caricature of a jealous husband. One night he spoke carefully, choosing each word like stepping stones over a river. "I'm uncomfortable," he said. "Could we set a boundary? No late calls, no one-on-one hangouts." Emily stiffened. "You're trying to control me again." "I'm trying to protect us." "From what? From your imagination?" The argument stretched thin, then snapped. Days later, Daniel's restraint evaporated. He called the coworker. "Listen," Daniel said, voice steady. "Whatever you think is happening, it stops now." A pause. The man's voice came smooth, dismissive. "You've misunderstood. We're colleagues. If you're insecure, that's between you and your wife." He hung up, stomach twisting. On the surface, the problem seemed to dissolve after that call. Fewer messages, fewer late nights. Emily insisted she'd set boundaries. "Happy now?" she asked, brittle. But at night, when the house finally went quiet, Daniel lay awake with the same thought looping through his mind. "I still don't know the whole story." He swallowed the doubt, because hope is a powerful anesthetic. He proposed. They married. They built a life on a foundation that felt solid until the ground shifted again. Silence does not heal betrayal. It only buries it, waiting for the day it resurfaces stronger than before.
They married in a small hall filled with friends, soft lights, and promises that felt as real as breath. Daniel remembered Emily's hands shaking as she slid the ring onto his finger. He told himself the tremor was emotion, not uncertainty. He chose faith and wrapped himself in it like a new suit he wanted to fit. Marriage settled over them like a rhythm. Shared meals, shared bills, shared calendars full of birthdays and errands. On quiet evenings, Emily would fall asleep with her head on Daniel's chest while the TV murmured in the background. He memorized the weight of those moments, storing them like proof that love could be stronger than doubt. But habits can hide fractures. One night, while folding laundry, Daniel found a note tucked into the pocket of Emily's coat. Nothing explicit, just a scribble on a receipt. "Great talk today. You always know how to make a day easier." No name, no number. Harmless on paper, not harmless in his chest. "Did someone leave you this?" he asked, keeping his tone even. She glanced at it, then at him. "A client. We had a difficult meeting. It's nothing." He nodded, the way people do when the answer doesn't reach them. "Okay. Daniel, we're married. You can trust me." He wanted to. He needed to. "Then let's keep it simple. No secrets." "Agreed," she said, kissing his cheek. "No secrets." The note went into the trash. The words stayed with him. They started hosting small gatherings. Neighbors, a few friends, children weaving between legs and coffee tables. At one of these, a guest made a joke at Emily's expense, a flirt hidden inside humor. Daniel watched her laugh, watched the man lean in a little too close. Later, while they washed dishes in the quiet kitchen, he tried for gentleness. "When he said that thing about your smile, it crossed a line." She kept her back to him, scrubbing a plate. "It was a joke." He was testing a boundary. "So what if he was? I didn't encourage him." Daniel dried a glass slowly. "My chest locked up. It's like my body doesn't believe we're safe when men treat you like that." She turned, water dripping from her fingers. "You didn't used to be like this." "I didn't used to have reason." "I'm trying to say this without accusing you. I feel triggered. I need you on my side when it happens." Emily set the plate down. For a moment, her expression softened. "I'm tired of paying for the past, but okay, next time I'll shut it down." He nodded. "Thank you."
He meant it. She did try, at least for a while. Comments were deflected, numbers not exchanged, lines drawn more clearly. Still, trust rebuilt on hope has the texture of thin ice. It holds until it doesn't. With time came children, and with children came a new kind of closeness, shared exhaustion, shared pride, the sacred mess of family. Daniel learned the choreography of nighttime bottles and morning lunches. Emily moved through the house like warm weather, present, needed, comforting. And yet, the smallest things could shake him. A phone face down for hours, a sudden change of tone when he entered a room, laughter from a message she didn't share. He fought himself daily. Don't pry, don't accuse, don't become the villain in your own home. One evening, he tried a different approach. What he'd read, what therapists suggest, I statements, he told himself under his breath, then said aloud, I feel anxious when I don't know who you're talking to late at night. I need transparency, not because I want to control you, but because I want to feel safe with you. Emily leaned against the counter and studied him. Transparency goes both ways. You're asking for access, not trust. I'm asking for the kind of closeness that doesn't make either of us guess. Then stop guessing, she said softly. If I had something to confess, I would. His mouth opened and closed. Would you? A shadow crossed her face, there and gone. Yes. He let it go. He always let it go. Then one ordinary afternoon, 2 years into their marriage, the ground finally moved. It was raining, a steady hush against the windows. The children napped. Daniel made tea while Emily stood at the kitchen table, twisting a napkin between her fingers. He sensed it before she spoke, the same way you sense a storm by the air's change, pressure dropping. I need to tell you something, she said. He set the tea down. Okay. About back then. She didn't have to say which then. They both knew. The room felt suddenly smaller, the light too bright. Daniel waited, pulse in his ears. I lied, Emily said finally, the words falling like coins onto a table. About him, the friend. We did kiss. And for a while, there was something. Not intimate, but close. I told you no because I didn't want to lose you. The sound in Daniel's chest wasn't a crack. It was an echo of an old one, vibrating back to life. He stared at the tea steam curling into nothing. Thank you for telling me, he said carefully. I wish you had told me then. I was afraid, she whispered, and you left. It felt like the only way to save us was to deny it ever happened. He nodded slowly. What about the coworker? Emily's eyes flicked to the window, to the rain's steady march. He was attention I shouldn't have wanted, but I did. I never planned to cross a line. Daniel swallowed. Did you? She hesitated. The silence stretched thin. No, she said. I didn't. He believed her, then didn't, then wanted to again. They stood there, two people with matching cups and mismatched truths. We can work through this, Emily said, reaching for his hand. I'm in it, for the long haul. Daniel let her fingers fold into his. They were warm, familiar. He could almost forget how easily warmth can disguise a burn. Deep inside, something shifted. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a willingness to keep walking. He didn't know that the road ahead would demand more than he thought he had. Months passed with a fragile calm, like glass stretched too thin. Daniel tried to believe the worst was behind them, but unease clung to him. Small things ignited his doubts. Emily's sudden defensiveness, her refusal to revisit old wounds. The unspoken grew heavier than words. One night, after the children were asleep, he found her sitting in the darkened living room. The glow of her phone screen lit her face, but she set it aside quickly when he entered. "Emily," he said, voice quiet but steady. "Is there more? About the coworker?" Her shoulders stiffened. "Why do you keep asking me that?" "Because I can't shake it. Because when you told me about the kiss with your friend, it made me wonder if you've still been protecting me from the full truth." Emily stared at her hands. Silence stretched until it pressed into his ribs. Finally, she whispered, "There is more." Daniel sat down slowly, heart hammering. "Tell me." "He was kind to me, persistent. I told myself it was harmless, that I just liked the attention. But I went to his place. Twice." Daniel closed his eyes. "What happened?" "The first time, nothing. We talked, we drank tea. I convinced myself it was innocent. The second time, we cuddled on the couch. I fell asleep, and he carried me to his bed. We lay there, close. He kissed me, my forehead, then tried for more. I froze, turned away. That's all." Daniel's throat felt raw. "That's all?" She met his eyes, a tear escaping. "Yes. I left at dawn. I felt sick with guilt." He pressed his palms together, struggling to breathe evenly. "Why didn't you tell me then? Why let me feel crazy for years?" "Because I thought you'd leave," she whispered. "Because I wanted our life more than I wanted honesty." After her confession, nothing felt solid. Daniel went through the motions of life, school drop-offs, bills, work, but every quiet moment pulled him back to that image, Emily in another man's bed. He told himself it hadn't gone further, but doubt has teeth, and it bit at him constantly. He tried to voice it gently. "When you tell me it stopped there, I want to believe you, but my body doesn't. It reacts like it knows more happened." Emily bristled. "So what? I'm a liar no matter what I say?" "I'm saying I can't reconcile it, not without your help." Her eyes flashed with anger. "I'm done being interrogated. If you can't move on, maybe you don't really want me." The words hit like a slap. "I do want you. That's why I'm fighting for the truth." "Then stop digging up graves," she snapped. "Either we live now or we don't live at all." Desperate, Daniel convinced her to try counseling again. They sat across from a therapist who asked careful questions, who urged them to use I statements instead of accusations. Daniel poured himself into it. "I feel unsafe when the story keeps changing," he said one session. "I need consistency. I need to know the ground I'm standing on isn't going to give way again." Emily folded her arms. "And I need him to stop acting like my jailer. I've admitted my mistakes. What more do you want?" "The truth," Daniel whispered. "All of it. Without trickle truth. Without dragging it out until I'm too numb to care." The therapist leaned forward. "Emily, is there any part of this story you haven't told yet? Even something small?" Emily's jaw tightened. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, "He kissed me. On the lips. I turned away. That's it." Daniel's breath caught. He had suspected it, but hearing it said aloud fractured him in a new way. "Why not tell me that the first time?" Her voice cracked. "Because every time I tell you more, I lose you a little, and I'm terrified of losing you completely." Daniel sat in silence, the room spinning with half-truths and almost confessions. He realized then that their marriage wasn't broken by a single betrayal, but by 1,000 withheld pieces of it. The weeks after therapy felt like walking across shattered glass. Every word between them was cautious, every silence heavier than thunder. Daniel couldn't erase the image from his mind, Emily in that man's house, in his bed, choosing to be there instead of with him. One evening, as they sat across from each other at the kitchen table, the weight became unbearable. "Emily," Daniel said, his voice low but trembling, "I can't keep living with shadows. Every time you reveal something new, it's like a knife turning deeper." She flinched. "I've told you everything." "Have you?" He leaned forward. "Or have you told me just enough to stop me from leaving?" Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was answer enough. Daniel's eyes filled with tears he refused to shed. "You don't understand. It wasn't just what you did. It's how you kept me in the dark, made me doubt myself, made me question my own instincts. That broke me more than the kiss." "I was scared," she whispered. "I thought if you knew everything, you'd walk away." "And now?" Emily's hands shook as she reached for him. "Now, I just want us to survive this."
Arguments became routine. Some nights, they ended in icy silence, others in raw shouting that left both drained. The children noticed the tension, asking why Mommy and Daddy didn't laugh together anymore. Daniel's heart cracked at their innocence. One night, after another bitter fight, Emily spat words that froze him in place. "If you can't forgive me, then maybe you should just leave." Daniel stared at her, stunned. "Is that what you want?" "No," she said, softer now, "but I can't keep being punished forever." "This isn't punishment," Daniel said, voice breaking. "This is me drowning, trying to breathe in a sea you created." Months dragged on, with therapy sessions offering little relief. Daniel began journaling late at night, pouring his confusion into words he couldn't say aloud. His entries were filled with contradictions. "I love her. I can't trust her. I want to stay. I want to run." One night, as Emily slept beside him, he whispered into the dark, "I don't know if we can be fixed." The words echoed in the silence, heavy and final. The next day, Emily confronted him after noticing his distance. "Daniel, are you giving up on us?" He looked at her, torn apart inside. "I don't know. I'm at the breaking point, Emily. I can't live in half-truths anymore. Either we rebuild completely or we let go." Her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "Then we decide. Together."
The house was quieter than ever, as though even the walls were waiting for their decision. Daniel walked through each room late at night, pausing by the children's toys, feeling the weight of what might be lost. Emily found him in the living room, staring at nothing. "You're far away again," she said gently. He sighed. "I'm standing at a cliff, Emily. One step forward means rebuilding. One step back means walking away. I don't know which path is right." Tears welled in her eyes.
Do you still love me? Daniel's throat tightened. Yes, but love doesn't erase betrayal. It doesn't rebuild trust on its own. She moved closer, her hands trembling as she reached for his. Then let me help rebuild it. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't give up on us. Daniel began remembering the years behind them, moments of laughter, the births of their children, the quiet nights when Emily had been his safest place. But along with the warmth came the shadows, lies revealed too late, the cold sting of doubt, the gnawing question of how much he still didn't know. During a late therapy session, the counselor asked bluntly, "Daniel, can you envision a future where you trust Emily again?" He swallowed hard. "I want to, but every time I tried, the past drags me back." Emily turned to him, her face streaked with tears. "Then let me fight for us. Don't fight alone anymore."
The decision could no longer be postponed. One evening, after the children were asleep, Daniel and Emily sat together in the dim glow of the living room lamp. The silence was thick, every second stretching. Daniel finally spoke. "We're at the edge. We can't keep living like this. Either we rebuild from the ground up, or we let go with dignity." Emily's hands twisted in her lap. "And what do you want?" "I want peace," he said, "but I don't know if it's with you or without you." Her voice broke. "Then let's ask the only people who matter in this moment." She looked directly into his eyes. "The ones who have walked this journey with us, our listeners." You've heard Daniel and Emily's story. The love, the lies, the struggle, and the breaking point. Now they stand at a crossroads. Should Daniel fight to stay and rebuild with Emily? Or should he walk away to protect his peace? What do you think, listener? The choice is yours to weigh in on.